pushed his cleaning cart through the endless metal hallways of the flagship. The wheels made a soft sound against the polished floor. He had been working on this ship for 3 months now, and he still got lost sometimes. The ship was massive. It was bigger than some cities back on Earth. He was just a janitor. That was the job humans got when they joined the Galactic Alliance. Clean the floors, empty the trash, stay quiet, stay invisible. They did not think much of humans. To them, humans were like children who had just learned to walk among the stars. Did not mind. The pay was good. He sent most of it back to his mother in. She was old now, and the medical bills were expensive. So he cleaned alien bathrooms and mopped alien floors and kept his head down. His tablet beeped. A new cleaning assignment. Sector 7, Room 442. He checked the map on his screen and frowned. That sector was in the upper levels of the ship. He had never cleaned there before. Those were the royal quarters. He walked for 20 minutes before he found the right hallway. Everything looked different here. The walls were covered in gold patterns. The lights were softer, more purple. It smelled like flowers he could not name. Room 442. He stopped in front of a large door. It was made of some kind of white stone, smooth and cold to the touch. There was no handle, just a small panel on the side. Pressed his work badge against the panel. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the door slid open with a soft hiss. Steam poured out. Warm, wet air hit his face. He stepped inside before he could think. The room was full of mist. He could barely see 3 feet in front of him. The floor was wet under his boots. This was not a storage room. This was not a maintenance area. This was a bath. His heart started beating faster. He turned to leave, but the door had already closed behind him. He pressed his badge against the inside panel. Nothing happened. He pressed again. Still nothing. He was trapped. The mist moved around him like it was alive. Somewhere in the distance he heard water dripping. The room was huge. He could feel that much. The ceiling was far above him, lost in the steam. Then he heard something else. A voice, soft and musical like wind through bells. Someone was singing. Froze, he should call out. He should announce himself. That was the rule. If you entered a room where someone important was present, you had to announce yourself immediately. But his voice would not come out. Something about that singing made him feel strange. It pulled at something deep inside his chest. It made him want to walk forward toward the sound. So he did. He moved through the mist, his boots silent on the wet stone floor. The singing grew louder, more beautiful, more strange. He passed pillars made of crystal. He passed pools of water that glowed with soft blue light. And then he saw her. She was standing in a shallow pool, her back turned to him. Her skin was pale silver like moonlight made solid. Her hair was long and white, floating in the water around her. She was tall, much taller than any human woman. Her body was elegant, alien, beautiful in a way that hurt to look at. Princess Sora. He had seen her image on the ship's broadcasts, the beloved daughter of Emperor, the jewel of the Empire. Should have looked away. He should have run. But then something happened that made him forget everything else. Her skin flickered. It was like watching a broken television screen. For just a moment her silver skin disappeared. Underneath he saw something else, something different. Her true skin was not silver at all. It was dark blue, almost black, covered in patterns that glowed like stars. Her body was smaller, different. Wrong. No, not wrong, hidden. The silver returned. The flickering stopped. She was Princess Sora again, beautiful and perfect. But had seen the truth. She was wearing a disguise. A hologram, maybe. Some kind of advanced technology that changed how she looked. The princess was not. His foot slipped on the wet stone. He fell backward, his arms swinging wildly. He crashed into a pillar. The sound echoed through the entire chamber like thunder. The singing stopped. Slowly, Princess Sora turned around. Her eyes found him immediately. They were large and purple, shaped like almonds. They did not look angry. They looked afraid, more afraid than felt. For a long moment, neither of them moved. Neither of them spoke. The steam swirled between them like a living curtain. Then she spoke. Her voice was different now, not musical, sharp and cold like ice. "Human, you saw." It was not a question. His mouth opened, but no words came out. His body was shaking, not from the cold, from fear. He had seen something he was not supposed to see. He had discovered a secret that nobody should know. Princess Sarah stepped out of the pool. Water dripped from her silver skin. She walked toward him slowly, each step graceful and deadly. "You saw what I really am," she said. Her eyes never left his face. "Do you know what that means?" Finally found his voice. It came out weak and broken. I did not mean to. The tablet sent me here. The door opened. I thought it was." "Silence." He closed his mouth. She stopped in front of him. She was so close now. He could see the patterns in her purple eyes. He could smell her skin like rain and something ancient. "No one has seen my true form in 300 years, she whispered. "The last person who did. They were turned to ash before they could take another breath." His legs gave out. He fell to his knees on the wet stone. His whole body was shaking now. He was going to die. He was going to die in an alien bathroom, far from home, far from his mother, all because of a stupid mistake. "Please," he begged. "I will not tell anyone, I promise. I will forget everything, please." Princess Sarah looked down at him. Her face was impossible to read. Alien, strange, beautiful. Then she did something unexpected. She smiled. "A human," she said softly, almost to herself. "After all this time, a human." She knelt down in front of him. Her face was level with his now. Her purple eyes searched his face, looking for something, what he did not know. "Tell me, human," she whispered. "Can you keep a secret?" Nodded. He would have agreed to anything in that moment. Her smile grew wider. There was something dark in it, something hungry. "Good," she said, "because I have been waiting a very, very long time for someone like you." His heart was beating so loud he was sure she could hear it. Princess Sarah was still kneeling in front of him, her purple eyes fixed on his face. The steam swirled around them both, making everything feel like a dream. "I do not understand," he said. His voice was barely a whisper. "What do you mean, someone like me?" Sarah stood up slowly. She walked back toward the pool, but she did not get in. Instead, she sat on the edge, her silver legs dangling in the glowing blue water. "Come here," she said. It was not a request. Got up on shaking legs. He walked toward her and stopped a few feet away. He was still afraid to get too close. She had said she could turn him to ash. He believed her. "Do you know what to call your species?" she asked. Primitives answered. Everyone knew this. The thought humans were young and stupid, useful for simple work but nothing more. Sora laughed. It was a strange sound, beautiful and sad at the same time. "Yes, primitives, children of a small blue planet. They think you are weak. They think you are simple. They think your minds are." She paused, searching for the right word. "Empty." Did not know what to say. He had heard these insults many times. They still hurt, even after 3 months. "But they are wrong," Sora continued. Her voice dropped lower. "Humans are not empty. Humans are closed, locked. Your minds are like fortresses made of stone. Nothing can get inside." "I do not understand," said again. Sora looked at him with those purple eyes. In the dim light of the bath, they almost seemed to glow. "Tell me, human, have you ever had strange thoughts that did not feel like your own? Have you ever done something and wondered why you did it? Have you ever felt like someone was pushing you from inside your own head?" Thought about it, he shook his head slowly. "No, never." Sora smiled again, that same dark, hungry smile. "Exactly." She lifted her hand. Her fingers were long and thin, with nails that looked like polished silver. She pressed them against her own chest, right over her heart. They have a power, she said. They call it the gift. It lets them enter the minds of other species. They can read thoughts. They can plant ideas. They can control. Felt a chill run down his spine. He had heard rumors about this. Some of the other workers whispered about it late at night. How they always seemed to know what you were thinking. How sometimes you forgot things you should not forget. Every species in the galaxy is vulnerable to the gift, Sora continued. The Mer, all of them, their minds are open books to the, she paused. All of them, except humans. We are immune, asked. Not immune, but close. Your brains are different, structured differently. The gift cannot penetrate easily. It is like trying to break through a wall with your bare hands. Possible maybe, but painful, slow. Most do not bother trying. His mind was spinning. He had always wondered why they let humans work on their ships, why they did not just use mind control to make them better slaves. Now he understood. So we are useless to them, he said. That is why they give us the worst jobs. Yes and no. Sora turned her body to face him fully. They give you the worst jobs because they are afraid, a species they cannot control, a species whose thoughts they cannot read. That is dangerous, so they keep you small. They keep you cleaning floors and emptying trash. They make sure you never have any real power. She stood up suddenly. Water dripped from her legs, creating dark spots on the stone floor. But I see something different. I see an opportunity. She walked toward him again. This time did not step back. Something had changed. He was still afraid, but now there was something else too. Curiosity, hope maybe. Show me, he said. Show me what you really look like. Sora stopped. Her purple eyes widened slightly. For a moment she looked surprised, then she looked pleased. You are brave, human, or stupid. I cannot tell which. Maybe both, said. She laughed again. This time it sounded more real, more warm. Very well. She raised her hand to her chest again. Her fingers found something there, a small device hidden under her silver skin. She pressed it. The change was immediate. The silver melted away like ice in summer. The tall, elegant body became smaller, more compact. The white hair turned black as night. And her skin became that beautiful dark blue he had seen before, covered in patterns that glowed like distant stars. She was not at all. She was something else entirely. Her face was different now, sharper. Her eyes were still purple, but they were shaped differently, rounder, bigger. Her body was still humanoid, but the proportions were wrong. Her arms were slightly longer. Her fingers had an extra joint. Her ears were pointed and pressed flat against her head. She was alien, truly alien. And yet, there was something familiar about her. Something that reminded of old stories his grandmother used to tell. Stories about beings who lived among the stars. What are you? He breathed. My people were called the, she said. Her voice was different too now, softer, more musical. We were old when they were still learning to make fire. We traveled between galaxies when they were still counting stars. We were magnificent. Were, noticed the past tense. Pain flashed across her face. Real pain, deep pain. They found us 3,000 years ago. They learned that our blood had special properties, healing, regeneration. One drop of blood could cure any disease, could extend any life. Her voice became hard. So they hunted us. They captured us. They drained us dry. Felt sick. How many of you are left? I do not know, maybe 100, maybe fewer. We are scattered across the empire, hidden in plain sight, kept alive so they can harvest us whenever they need our blood. And you, how did you become this? He gestured at the hologram device she was holding. The Emperor took me when I was young. He killed my family in front of me. Then he gave me this disguise and told everyone I was his daughter, his precious Princess Sora. Her hands curled into fists. The star patterns on her skin pulsed brighter. I have been his prisoner for 300 years, his blood bank, his trophy. 300 years. Could not even imagine it. living as a slave for 3 centuries, pretending to be the daughter of the man who murdered your family. "Why are you telling me this?" he asked. "You could have killed me, you should have killed me. Why are you trusting me with this?" Sora looked at him. Her purple eyes were shining with something that might have been tears. "Because I have been waiting for someone the Emperor cannot control, someone whose mind is locked tight, someone who could help me do what I have dreamed of doing for 300 years. "What is that?" She stepped closer, so close that he could feel the warmth of her body, so close that he could see himself reflected in her purple eyes. "I want to destroy him," she whispered. "I want to burn his empire to the ground. I want to free every slave, every prisoner, every species he has crushed under his boot, and I want to do it with a human by my side." She held out her hand. Her dark blue fingers were steady. The star patterns pulsed gently like a heartbeat. "Will you help me? Will you help me change the galaxy?" Looked at her hand. He thought about his mother he thought about his small life, his small dreams. He thought about all the floors he had cleaned, all the trash he had emptied, all the times he had been called primitive and useless. Then he reached out and took her hand. "Yes," he said, "I will help you." Sora smiled. It was not dark this time, it was bright, hopeful, beautiful. "Then let us begin." The days that followed were the strangest of life. On the surface, nothing changed. He still pushed his cleaning cart through the endless hallways. He still mopped floors and emptied trash. He still kept his head down and his mouth shut. But everything was different now. Every night when the ship's lights dimmed for sleep cycle would make his way to Sector 7. He had learned the path by heart. Down the main corridor, left at the crystal fountain, through the maintenance tunnel, up the service elevator. The door to the royal bath would open for him now. Sora had programmed it to recognize his badge. She was always waiting for him. They would talk for hours. She told him about her people, how they had once been the guardians of the galaxy, how they had traveled between stars, spreading knowledge and peace, how their blood had been a gift they gave freely to those in need. And she told him about They were nothing, she said one night. They were sitting by the edge of the glowing pool, their feet in the warm water. Sora was in her true form, blue skin, star patterns, beautiful and strange. A small empire on the edge of the galaxy. Nobody paid attention to them. Nobody thought they were dangerous. "What changed?" asked. "They discovered the gift." Her voice became hard. "Nobody knows how. Some say they stole it from an ancient race. Some say they made a deal with something dark. Whatever the truth, the gift changed everything. Suddenly they could enter minds. They could control thoughts. They could make anyone do anything." She pulled her feet out of the water and hugged her knees to her chest. They started small, one planet at a time, one species at a time. They would send diplomats to a world, and within a year that world would belong to them. No war, no bloodshed, just control. The leaders would suddenly decide to join the empire. The people would suddenly forget they had ever been free. "That is horrible," said. "Yes, and it worked perfectly. For thousands of years nothing could stop them. No army could fight an enemy that could turn your own soldiers against you. No alliance could stand when your allies forgot why they were fighting." She looked at him with those purple eyes. "Until now." "Because of humans. Because of humans." She stood up and walked to a small table near the pool. On it was a holographic map of the galaxy. She touched it, and it came to life, showing thousands of stars and planets. "The Empire controls 80% of the known galaxy," she said. "Billions of beings under their rule, hundreds of species enslaved, either openly or in secret." She pointed to a small cluster of stars on the edge of the map. "And here is Earth, the addition to their territory, the species they call primitive, the species they cannot control." Looked at the tiny dot that represented his home. It seemed so small, so insignificant. "There are not many of us," he said. "A few hundred humans work in the Empire, Janitors, maintenance workers, kitchen staff. We have no power, no weapons, no influence. You have something better, Sora said. You have freedom, true freedom, the freedom inside your heads. She turned off the map and sat back down next to him. Let me explain how this will work. The Emperor has spies everywhere. Not just every species has traitors who report to him. They do not even know they are traitors. The gift makes them forget. They spy, and then they forget they ever did it. So anyone could be a spy. Anyone except humans. Your minds reject the gift. You cannot be turned into puppets. You cannot be made to forget. She grabbed his hand. Her fingers were warm. Do you understand what this means? You are the only people in the galaxy who can be trusted completely. His head was spinning. It was too much, too big. He was just a janitor he was nobody. Why me? He asked. There are other humans on this ship, stronger ones, smarter ones. Why did you choose me? Sora was quiet for a moment. She looked at him with an expression he could not read. Because you came to me, she said finally. Out of all the humans on this ship, you were the one who walked through that door. The universe has a strange sense of humor. Maybe it was an accident, or maybe it was fate. Either way, you are here now, and I believe you are exactly who I need. She let go of his hand and stood up again. Her star patterns were glowing brighter now, pulsing with some inner light. Here is my bargain, help me, and I will give you something no human has ever had. Power, real power, not the scraps to throw you, but true influence in the galaxy. And if I fail, then we both die. The Emperor does not forgive. He does not forget. If he discovers what we are doing, he will not just kill us. He will make examples of us. He will hurt everyone we have ever loved. Thought about his mother again, her kind face, her warm hands, the way she smiled when he sent money home. If I do this, he said slowly, if I help you, can you promise me something? What? Protect my mother. Whatever happens to me, make sure she is safe. Sora looked at him for a long moment, then she nodded. I swear it on the blood of my ancestors. Your mother will be protected, no matter what. It was enough. It had to be enough. Then tell me what I need to do. Sora smiled. She walked to the wall and pressed her hand against it. A hidden panel slid open, revealing a small room filled with strange devices. Weapons, maybe, or tools, could not tell. First, you need to learn. The gift cannot control you, but it can still hurt you if you are not careful. I will teach you how to recognize when it is trying to enter your mind. I will teach you how to resist. She picked up a small metal band and brought it to him. This is a translator upgrade. It will let you understand every language in the galaxy, not just the basic ones your current implant knows. You will need it for what comes next. What comes next? Asked. We find others like us, other humans who work in the Empire, other species who have been enslaved. We build a network, a resistance. Her eyes were burning now, filled with a fire that had been hidden for 300 years. The Emperor thinks he controls everything. He thinks no one can challenge him, but he has forgotten one important truth. What truth? The most powerful force in the universe is not the gift, she said. It is hope. And right now, you are the most hopeful thing I have seen in 3 centuries. She placed the metal band in his hands. It was light, cool to the touch. Put it on, and let us change the galaxy together. Looked at the band, he thought about his small life, his small dreams, his small place in the universe. Then he placed the band around his wrist. It clicked shut, and everything changed. 6 months passed like water through fingers. Was no longer just a janitor. He was still pretending to be one. That was important. His cover had to remain perfect, but underneath the uniform he had become something else entirely. A rebel, a spy, a leader. It started small. Sora gave him names. Other humans scattered across the Empire. A cook on a transport ship, a mechanic at a mining station, a nurse in a military hospital. One by one reached out to them. He told them the truth about the gift, about what they really were. Not everyone believed him at first. Some thought he was crazy, some thought it was a trap, but slowly word spread. Humans began to talk to each other in secret. They shared information. They watched. They waited. And then they found the others. They were not the only ones with secrets. Other species had been hiding too, waiting for the right moment, waiting for someone to unite them. There was a female who worked in the ship's medical bay. Her people had once been great healers. Now they were forced to work for the Empire, treating soldiers while their own people died from preventable diseases. She had been plotting revenge for years. She just needed help. There was a male who had been captured as a child. His species were warriors, strong and fearless. They had turned them into gladiators, forcing them to fight each other for entertainment. Had killed his own brother in the arena. He would never forgive. He would never forget. And there were dozens more. Hundreds, all of them suffering, all of them angry, all of them waiting. Became the bridge between them. He could meet with anyone, talk to anyone because they could not spy on him. His mind was locked tight. His thoughts were his own. He moved between groups like a ghost, passing messages, building trust, creating connections. Sora watched him with growing pride. "You are a natural," she told him one night in the royal bath. "I have lived for centuries, and I have never seen anyone build a network this fast." "I am just talking to people," said, "listening to them, treating them like they matter." That is exactly it, the rule through control. They take away choice. They take away voice, you give it back. That is more powerful than any weapon. But they would need weapons too. That was the hard truth. Words could inspire, but they could not stop soldiers. Hope could unite, but it could not break down doors. So they planned. The Emperor was hosting a grand celebration in 3 days, the anniversary of the Empire's founding. Every important would be there. The military commanders, the regional governors, the royal family, all of them gathered in one place, including the Emperor himself. "This is our only chance," Sora said. She was packing back and forth, her star patterns glowing brighter with each step. The Emperor rarely leaves his throne room. The security is always perfect. But during the celebration there will be chaos. Thousands of guests, hundreds of servants. We can slip through. "And do what?" asked. "Kill him." "No, something better, something worse." She stopped packing and looked at him. "The Emperor has a secret, something he has hidden from the entire galaxy, something that, if revealed, would destroy everything he has built." "What secret?" Sora walked to the holographic projector and activated it. An image appeared, a massive structure, deep underground. "This is the blood vault," she said. "It is where they keep us, the surviving members of my species. We are drained regularly. Our blood is processed and stored. The Emperor gives it to his most loyal followers as a reward, eternal life, perfect health, all built on the suffering of my people." "Felt sick, how many?" 47. That is all that remains of a species that once numbered in the billions. 47 prisoners kept alive for their blood. Her voice cracked. "My mother was there when she died. My sister is there now." "We will free them," said, "I promise." "We will do more than that." Sora's eyes were hard now, fierce. "We will show the galaxy what they really are. Every species thinks the Empire is just and fair. They think the Emperor is wise and kind. They do not know about the slaves, the prisoners, the blood farms, but they will." She pulled up another image, a broadcast tower. "During the celebration, the Emperor will give a speech. It will be transmitted to every corner of the galaxy. Billions will be watching." She smiled. It was not a pleasant smile. "We are going to hijack that broadcast. We are going to show them the blood vault. We are going to show them the truth." The plan was insane. It was dangerous. It required perfect timing and even more perfect luck. But it could work. The next 3 days were a blur. Barely slept. He met with every cell of the resistance, making sure everyone knew their role. They would provide medical support and emergency evacuation. They would handle security. They knew the guards' patterns better than anyone. The humans would be everywhere, moving freely, invisible in their uniforms. And Sora would lead them into the heart of the enemy. The night of the celebration arrived, stood in the servants' quarters dressed in his cleanest uniform. His hands were shaking, his heart was pounding. In a few hours everything would change, for better or worse. Appeared beside him. She was wearing a medical uniform, a small bag of supplies hidden under her coat. "Are you ready?" she asked. "No," admitted, "but I am going anyway." She smiled. "That is the human way, I think. You are never ready, but you go anyway." Joined them next. He was massive, his body barely fitting in the doorway, but he moved quietly like a shadow. "The guards have changed positions," he reported. "The path to the broadcast tower is clear. We have a window of 40 minutes. 40 minutes. That was all the time they had to change history. Took a deep breath. He thought about his mother. He thought about Earth. He thought about all the people counting on him, humans and aliens alike. Then he thought about Sora, about her pain, about her hope, about the fire in her purple eyes. "Let us go," he said. They moved through the ship like ghosts, past the celebration halls where thousands of danced and laughed, past the security checkpoints where guards barely glanced at the servants in their plain uniforms, past the royal quarters where the emperor prepared for his grand speech. And finally, they reached the broadcast tower. Sora was already there, waiting in the shadows. She was still wearing her silver disguise, still playing the part of Princess Sora, but her eyes were different tonight. They were not purple anymore. They were gold, gold. "It is time," she whispered. Nodded. They entered the tower together. The broadcast tower was tall and dark. Metal stairs spiraled upward into the shadows. At the top was the control room, where the Emperor's speech would be transmitted to the entire galaxy. They had 15 minutes. Climbed first, his boots silent on the metal steps. Behind him came Sora, then 4 rebels against an empire. It seemed impossible. It probably was impossible. But they were doing it anyway. The control room was guarded by 2 soldiers. They turned as the door opened, their hands reaching for their weapons, but was faster. He moved like lightning, crossing the room in 3 steps. His massive hands caught both guards before they could make a sound. They slumped to the ground, unconscious. "We have 10 minutes," Sora said. She was already at the main console, her fingers flying over the controls. "The Emperor will start his speech soon. We need to be ready." Moved to help her. The female was small, but her hands were steady. She understood technology in ways that amazed. "I am connecting to the blood vault cameras," said. "There are security locks. Give me a moment." Stood by the window, watching the celebration below. The great hall was magnificent, crystal chandeliers, flowing curtains, thousands of guests in beautiful clothes, and at the center of it all, a massive throne where Emperor would soon sit. He looked so normal from here, just an alien in fancy clothes. Nobody would guess that he was a monster. Nobody would imagine the horrors he had committed. But they would learn. Tonight they would all learn. "I am in," announced. "The footage is ready." Sora looked at. Her gold eyes were burning with emotion, fear, hope, rage, all mixed together. "Once we do this, there is no going back," she said. "The Emperor will hunt us forever. Our lives will never be the same." "Our lives were never really ours to begin with," replied. "We were always slaves. We just did not know it. At least now we are choosing our own chains." Sora smiled. It was the most beautiful thing he had ever seen. "You speak like a true," she whispered. The lights in the great hall dimmed. Music began to play. The celebration was starting. Emperor walked to his throne. He was tall and silver like all. His face was handsome in an alien way, sharp features, bright purple eyes, a smile that never quite reached those eyes. He raised his hand and the crowd fell silent. "My beloved citizens," his voice boomed through the hall, "today we celebrate 5,000 years of peace, 5,000 years of progress, 5,000 years of the Empire." The crowd cheered. The sound was deafening even from the tower. "We have brought order to the galaxy. We have united species that once fought endless wars. We have created a civilization that will last forever." More cheering, more applause. "Felt sick, so many lies, so much pain hidden behind pretty words." "Now," Sora said, "press the final button." The Emperor's image flickered on every screen in the galaxy. For a moment, he continued speaking, unaware that anything had changed. Then the footage began. The blood vault appeared on every screen. Dark cells, metal chains, bodies strapped to tables, blue-skinned prisoners with their eyes closed, tubes running from their arms, their blood draining slowly into glass containers. The 47 survivors of a murdered species, kept alive for centuries, drained like animals. Emperor's voice continued for a moment, talking about peace and progress, but the images showed something else. They showed the truth. In the Great Hall, the celebration stopped. Guests stared at the screens in horror. Some covered their mouths. Some turned away. Some simply stood frozen, unable to believe what they were seeing. Emperor realized something was wrong. He turned to look at the screens behind him. His face went pale. "What is this?" he screamed. "Stop this, stop it now." But nobody could stop it. The broadcast was everywhere. Every planet, every station, every ship. Billions of beings were watching the same horror. Sora's voice cut through the chaos. She had activated the microphone, and her words echoed across the galaxy. "My name is Sora. My real name. I have been the Emperor's prisoner for 300 years. He killed my family. He killed my people. He has kept us alive only to harvest our blood." Her voice was calm, strong. It carried the weight of centuries of suffering. "The Empire is built on lies. They speak of peace, but they practice slavery. They speak of unity, but they use the gift to control your minds. They speak of progress, but they murder entire species for profit." In the Great Hall, chaos erupted. Guests were screaming, running, fighting. The guards did not know what to do. Some tried to shut down the screens. Some tried to maintain order. Some just stood there as shocked as everyone else. Emperor was shouting orders, but nobody was listening. Sora continued, "But there is hope. The humans have shown us that hope. They cannot be controlled. They cannot be broken. And they have helped us build a resistance that spans the galaxy." She looked at. Her eyes were filled with tears, but she was smiling. "To every species that has suffered under the Empire, the time has come to fight back. Join us. Stand with us. Be free." The broadcast ended. For a moment there was silence in the control room. Then alarms began to wail. Soldiers were coming. "We need to go," said, "now." They ran, down the stairs, through the hallways, past the chaos of the celebration. Soldiers tried to stop them but cleared the way. Servants helped them hide. Other rebels created distractions. They reached the docking bay just as the ships began to launch. Rebels were escaping from every corner of the flagship, carrying with them the proof of the Emperor's crimes. And Sora made it to a small transport ship, and were already inside along with a dozen others, humans, all fleeing together. As the ship lifted off, looked back at the flagship. It was still beautiful, still massive, still powerful, but something had changed. The lie had been exposed. The truth was out. "What happens now?" he asked. Sora stood beside him, watching the stars appear as they left the ship behind. "Now the real work begins," she said. "The Emperor will not fall easily. The Empire will fight back. There will be war. Are we ready?" She took his hand. Her blue fingers wrapped around his brown ones. star patterns and human skin together. "We are now," she said, "because of you, because of all the humans who refuse to be controlled. You showed the galaxy that freedom is possible, that hope is real." Thought about his mother in. He thought about Earth, that small blue planet on the edge of the galaxy. He thought about all the humans who would follow in his footsteps, janitors and cooks and nurses and mechanics, all of them becoming heroes. "We are just getting started," he said. Sora smiled. "Yes," she agreed, "and the galaxy will never be the same." The ship jumped to, carrying them toward a new future. Behind them, the old empire began to crack. Ahead of them, a universe of possibilities waited. And at the center of it all was a simple truth. Sometimes the most dangerous weapon in the universe is not a gun or a bomb or a mind-controlling gift. Sometimes it is just a human who walked through the wrong door at the right time.